Canines are our passion. They are our addiction. They are our way of life, right down to the very core. And without them, we would be lost. The canines of this world really are something to behold. They assist us at work. They accompany us at home. And they perform for us in the field. No matter where we go, they are by our side. Canines really are a ride or die, and for that, we are grateful. This podcast will showcase working canines of various breeds and disciplines as we search for those canines and their handlers who are always striving to be the best at what they do. Those who are always grinding. Those who are always pushing the limits. Those who are always dogging. Join us on our adventures as it is sure to be a wild ride. I'm your host, Bryce Matthews.
And I'm your co-host, Steven Basham.
And this is Semper Doggin. Welcome to another episode of the Semper Doggin Podcast, guys. I am your host, Bryce Matthews, and tonight I am joined by Mr. Steven Basham. How are you today, brother?
Man, trying to stay warm. You already know I don't like the cold weather, and this has been like the worst. I moved back to Indiana in 2012, and this has been the worst winter that I can remember in southern Indiana. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think we got like 6 inches of snow, and I just can't get past it.
Yeah, it's been brutal up here too, man. Like, I just was leaving Indy. I was working down there in Indy today, and on the way home it was snow flurrying, and God bless it, the roads got slick quick. Like, it's cold and slick, and it just ain't worth a darn for much right now.
No, I mean, I already don't care too much for hunting in the wintertime, but with all the rain that we got, and because, you know, at the beginning of January, we had all the ice and the snow, and then it melted, and then we got like, I think over like a week time frame, we got like 8 or 9 inches of rain, and then turn around and now we've got freaking snow, and everything is completely flooded. Now everything is freezing, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, brother. All right, buddy. Well, hey, why don't you introduce our guest here tonight? You were the one who scheduled this and got us all lined up, so let's give him a warm welcome here to the Semper Doggin Podcast.
Yeah, guys, today we're going to go a little off topic, but with a familiar face. Mr. Ashton Hall has agreed to sit down and talk to us today, and Ashton's kind of a interesting individual in that he's one of the guys, I ain't going to say there ain't any, but there's not a whole lot of guys that kind of do the competitive squirrel hunting. You know, I can name, a few, but there's not a whole lot of guys that do the competitive squirrel hunting and coon hunting. And Ashton happens to be that one of those. So thanks for joining us on Semper Doggin Podcast, Ashton.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here.
So I've known Ashton, for quite a while just through the coon hunting world. But for those individuals that don't know who Ashton Hall is, won't you introduce yourself, where you're from, and kind of what you do?
Well, I live in a little town in the southern part of Ohio, Otway. I've been around dogs for my entire life. My grandpa and a bunch of my uncles all had foxhounds and still do. Had them my whole life. So I kind of started around foxhounds, but my stepdad and my uncles were all coon hunters. So they really got me into the tree dogs when I was, 7 or 8 years old. I really started coon hunting, but other than that, I've been all about dogs pretty much my whole life, and it's got me to where I'm at now, I guess.
So who took you on your first coon hunt?
My stepdad would have been the first person I ever went coon hunting with.
Okay.
Now,
blue tick, let me guess.
No, actually, that's funny because where I'm from, a lot of blue ticks where I'm from. Like, used to be, years ago, a lot of guys had blue ticks, but they were all totally against blue dogs.
That's kind of why I said that.
Yeah.
Now I want to know more about this fox dog thing. Let's just go off here, guys. We're going to talk coon hunting, squirrel hunting, and I'm just going to jump right down the rabbit hole into the fox dogs.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so are we talking like old school fox dogging where you just turn the dogs loose, you build a fire, you listen to them run circles for hours? Or are we talking like the fancy fox dogging where you're riding around on horseback and keeping up with the dogs? Like what kind of fox dogging?
No horseback and none of that. None of that. Just cut them loose, sit around, let them run till they get tired pretty much, and round them all up. And then we went to a lot of the field. They call them field trials, which are their competition hunts. And a lot of those are 3 days long. You stay out, stay somewhere for 3 days. And it's a good time. It's really kind of more, I would say, like an older man's kind of game. Like, I know a lot of guys that used to coon hunt. They kind of get where they can't follow a dog around no more, and they'll get some foxhounds and stuff. Just
okay, so like
that.
Are you
explain that to us?
Hold on, Basham. Hold on. Are you actually like, from what I've been told about fox dogging, like you don't ever hardly ever catch the fox. You're just listening to the dogs run.
Well, your goal is not to catch the fox. You never try to kill a fox.
Okay, there we go. That's what I need to know.
Yeah, that's not the goal. It's just like like any other competition hunt. They got a rule book that thick, just like everybody else does for their field trials and stuff. And there's a bunch of judges, and they're out there scoring dogs all the time. They run for 5 hours at a time, then you catch them and run them 5 hours the next day. And basically, whoever's got the highest accumulated score for those 3 days is your winner.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like the coyote dogs running the coyote dogs in the pens.
Same thing, exact same thing. You'll go to a fox hunt, and they'll call it a fox hunt field trial, but you may be in a coyote pen.
Okay.
A lot of times you are. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lot like your beagle trials too, right?
Yeah, I've never been to a beagle trial, honestly, so I don't really know. But
yeah. All right. Sorry, had to go down that rabbit hole. I apologize.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming.
Yeah. So the coonhounds, man, like let's dive into the coonhounds a little bit. Let's get on there first. Like 7 or 8 years old, your stepdad took you out there. Like where has this developed now? Like what all are you doing? What dogs do you prefer to hunt? Like what's a weekend or a month look like for you in the coonhound world?
Well, I kind of go through spurts where I'll be hunting a dog for somebody, and I'm going to a bunch of hunts, and then I may go a month where I don't go to no hunts, And like I got a dog now. I'm hunting a dog for Kevin Rash, a guy from Texas. I'm hunting a blue tick, actually. But we got some entries and stuff. Yeah, I got a blue tick right now. But we got some entries. We're going to go to Oklahoma for the truck hunt in Claremore. And I was going to hunt in Monticello this weekend at the World Qualifiers. But obviously those got canceled, so we're not doing that. So
yeah,
but yeah, as far as coon hunting, I'm about the same as everybody else. So I go when I can and try to do the best I can when I go.
So, I mean, do you have he's got one for Kevin Rash. Is it Airplane 3?
No, it is not Airplane 3. No.
Oh boy, you just had to go there, didn't you, Basham?
No, it's no Airplane.
You just had to go there. Man, I hate that about the Monticello and all those other qualifiers. Like, man, I 110% understand. Like, we need to keep the dogs and the handlers safe. Like, I'm all for that. Right. So I get it, the places that are flooded. But canceling Monticello, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around that. I live 40 minutes from there. Like, that's a club that I frequent a lot. And I know that the weather is not, it's not cancelable. It's not where you shouldn't be canceled up here, I guess, right now. It's cold. Don't get me wrong. It's cold. But
I guess it's kind of like, I'm with you. I don't understand. Like, has anybody given you an actual reason?
Man, so I even talked to Shane Patton about this, because whenever I called PKC to get my entries refunded, I talked to him and I was like, dude, what's the reasoning behind this? He said, well, people were just calling and complaining, saying that it was too cold and coons weren't going to be moving and dogs were going to be traveling too far, and there was a risk of getting dogs in trouble and on places and property that they shouldn't be on because of how far they're traveling due to the cold weather. So that's the explanation I got straight from Director of PKC. I don't know.
I mean, if that's the case, why did we move the World Hunt to March?
I would love to answer that. Like, I mean, I'm stuck here. Like,
I mean, how many times have you seen cold weather in the middle of March.
Yeah. And we're going down a rabbit hole here, guys, and I'm sorry, but I mean it's just part of what's going on in the dog world right now, but it's like this sucks for a lot of the working guys who rely on these qualifiers to have a chance to get a dog in. Now, I will say Angie Cable made a post on Facebook the other day that I was on board with. You know, she said she'd like to see it go back to a 100% week-long event where dogs have to win 6 hunts in a row, like 6 rounds in a row, in order to crown a true world champion. I agree with that statement. I'm not mad about it. But I also fall into the category of the guy who can't take off work and go down there and hunt 5 nights in a row if I need to. You know, everybody would love to double up Monday night and be done with it and go back Friday. Everybody would love that. But that's not reality for a lot of people. So these zones are a critical and crucial way for guys who can't make it to Salem for a week to have a viable shot at a world hunt, you know?
I was one of the ones that before that ever came into effect, you know, I talked to Shane quite a bit, and I'm not going to lie, I pushed for the qualifying rounds, just like UKC does, because of the fact of how many more entries do you think they get in all these qualifiers? Because, you know, you get Joe Smo from freaking Texas. He's never been to a world hunt, but yet he may go to a qualifier, and if he doubles up, okay, now I will go to the world hunt. But he's not going to take a week off and drive to Salem to go to a hunt a normal year. So I felt like it gives the qualifying events give the normal guy, the working man that isn't going to take off during the week and travel, you know, from Florida or from New York or from Texas all the way to Illinois. It gives them, because it's not like the UKC. UKC moves and I'm not giving props. Everybody knows my history with UKC, but I'm not giving props to UKC. I'm just saying the facts, and that is UKC moves their world hunt around. So if I'm hunting and the world hunt's in New York, but I know next year it's going to be in Texas, well, I may not even try this year in UKC because I know next year it's going to be around my hometown, and then I'll try. But with PKC, it's always in Illinois. So there's a lot of guys that don't get the opportunity to go up and hunt the world hunt because they don't have a job that they can take off. So I really pushed for the world qualifying, and kind of bringing you into this, Ashton. You know, what's your thoughts on the world qualifying versus kind of what the speculation is that a dog needs to win those 6?
Well, I think, I get what they're saying about, they win 6 casts that week. But if you win, let's say you double up at a qualifier, then you go out there and you win 4 more rounds starting on Friday early, you still won 6 casts. Yeah. So I feel like that doesn't take away from your world champion, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think you almost, if you want to have a big world hunt, you probably need to have these qualifiers. Because, like you said, how many more entries can we get if we have these qualifiers from guys who ain't going to go out there and take a week off work to go hunt and try to get doubled up and hunt on Friday? That's kind of where I'm at with it.
I agree 100%. You know, like you said, I do think I like the idea of going out there for a week-long event. A dog has to hold it together and make it happen Monday to Saturday. Like, I'm all for it. But I see the other side of the coin as well, because I'm on the other side of the coin. Like, I cannot get off work and go to Salem. It's just not going to happen. It's not feasible. So, I have to rely on these qualifiers, and to see them get canceled always sucks. But like I said, I'm going to repeat it. I'm 100% for safety. Where it's flooded and everything, that needed to happen. Monticello, I don't understand. And then I'm just going to leave it at that. But yeah, it kind of sucks because, as of right this moment, I'm out before it even starts. So it is what it is. There's not much you can change, but it's just interesting to get other people's perspectives on it.
Right.
So do you got anything qualified, Ashton?
Do I have anything qualified for the world hunt to take out there?
Yeah, PKC World.
Yeah, like I said, I had those entries. I was going to hunt the blue tick that I'm hunting for Kevin.
Okay, yeah.
So we're going to take those 2 reservations and move them out there to Salem. I'm going to go out there.
Gotcha.
King George is the name of the dog I'm hunting for Kevin. Rockin' R King George.
Gotcha.
Cool deal.
What, like, all right, so give us a little bit of background on that dog. Like, when did you get him? Like, what all has he done? Where are we at? Is this dog you're hunting for him, or is this something you sought out trying to get?
I'm hunting the dog for Kevin. So I got hooked up with Kevin through Dustin Walmick.
Okay.
Who, I don't know if you guys know, he's a coon hunter and a squirrel hunter from Georgia.
Doesn't he build boats as well?
Yeah, well, I think he does all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I think pretty sure he builds like some really cool wooden boats I see on Facebook.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But I got hooked up with Kevin through Dustin. I met Dustin through some squirrel hunts and stuff, and I haven't had him maybe a month and a half. I haven't had him very long. Haven't took him nowhere yet or nothing, but like I said, we got some entries, and I did take him to an open event a couple weeks ago and got in the late round up there, but other than that, I haven't really took him nowhere.
Awesome. So going to Salem, do you think that is going to help your chances? Like, do you think that he's a dog coming from Ohio over to Salem? Like, would you rather see a regional event over where he's at or where he's been hunting the last month, or do you think he's going to do okay in Salem?
I think really just the kind of dog he is, and he's been hunted. You know, he's been hunted for a long time in Georgia. He got hunted for a long time in Texas. He's been hunted for a long time in Michigan. I mean, the dog's been hunted I'd say about any kind of terrain you'd really want to hunt him in. So I'd say I feel like he's probably going to operate about the same just about anywhere you take him, really. So I don't think that's going to play much into our chances, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good deal. Sounds like you got a pretty good thing, you know. It's always a little different feeling whenever you're running the roads for somebody else. I mean, it's just it's almost like a little bit of a security blanket. You know what I mean? Because you don't have all that, you know, it's your dog weighing on you, shall you say.
Right.
But it is a catch-22 because then if you have any, you know, morals or values, you do feel bad for them whenever you're not able to produce. So
yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Now, do you have any dogs of your own right now, or are you just strictly hunting for people?
I'm strictly just hunting for that's the only dog I got right now is
Gotcha, just in general.
King. Yeah, that's the only dog I got. Yeah.
Man, I
very rarely do I ever have my own dog, honestly.
Okay, so let's dive into that. Like, that's a good topic. Why? What are the pros and cons of hunting for people, and why don't you want to keep one of your own?
Well, I'll just be honest. I'm not what I would consider to be a trainer. I can take a dog and get it ready to go to a hunt and feel pretty confident about that. But as far as training a pup or, you know, like a lot of guys will do, I wish I could do it. You know, buy a young dog, get him going, get his money won, all that, and sell him and make a bunch of money. I've tried to do that a couple times, and that just ain't really my game. So I kind of realized that that's not my game, and I just kind of try to stay away from it. I usually lose money, honestly, if I buy a dog. So.
Man, I mean, but it's good to like know where you're at on that kind of stuff, because I mean, I would say that I fall in the same category, like, because number one, I don't enjoy pups that much. Right. Number two, I don't have the time to dedicate to them to take them from that zero knowledge level to the next level. You get a dog like what I've got right now with Wheels. Like, when I bought him, that dog was rocking, rolling. Like, he just needed put in the woods and hunted. I can do that. Like, but I'm not going to ground pound him for 6 hours a night either. You know, that's just not my style for the life that I live. So I think it is very important to know where you fall on that spectrum and know, I guess, where you thrive, because if you're a jack of all trades, you're usually a master of none. But if you can focus in on one little thing, man, you can really thrive in that. And as a handler, like, if you know that's your game, like, guys are going to trust you, they're going to respect you, they're going to send you their dogs, and they're going to send you to some hunts where you can do some winning. Right.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I don't try to pretend to be something that I'm not. You know what I mean? I do what I feel like I'm pretty good at, and I'm fine with that.
Where do you fall, Basham?
Ooh. Depends on what day you're asking. Some days, I mean,
depends on who's sending the money at the time.
It all depends. I mean, I think it's well known that, I mean, some of the young dogs that I've trained and sold and throughout the years. So, I mean, with my background, I mean, yeah, I guess I'm more of, kind of the trainer. I guess I'm kind of the jack of all trades in that I can take one from nothing and turn it into something, or I can take one that's something and add a few tweaks, and get him ready for the hunts. I think in knowing how to do it all, I think that puts another level of pressure on you, because when you are hunting for somebody, I tend to think that they send you a dog and they're like, oh, well, this guy can take it and turn it into something nice. You know what I mean? Me, actually, it's funny that you asked, because me and Daughtry were actually talking today, and just talking in general. And, he straight up told me, he said, it's kind of like with Jed. The Jed dog, and Ashton's hunted with Jed a lot, when Maynard had him. And he is the exact example of, me and you have talked about it. When is a dog ready to go to a big hunt?
Never.
For me, it's hard, because I've never had a guy behind me to just push me and say, here's an open checkbook, go to whatever hunt you want to go to. So because of that, I feel like the dog has to be almost perfect for like 2 weeks before I think he even has a chance. And even then, if he goes the wrong way and gets outstruck, I just cost that guy $5,000 on an entry. And Jason said it perfect. He said, with Jed, you literally don't know what dog you're turning loose until 10 minutes after the hunt starts.
Right.
He's just different. And so he said, you can't win if you can't go. And that's something that Jed taught him was, 9 times out of 10, the dog that wins, that dog wasn't looking good on Tuesday and Wednesday either. It's just, you just go, and as long as your dog is mostly consistent. And what I mean by that is it's a dog that gets out there, moves around, gets treed, has coons, you stand a chance to win. As long as you take a dog like that, a consistent winner, you just got to go and show up.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And so the training side of it is just, it's kind of like I've told you before, all the homework's done from Monday to Thursday.
Yep.
Or Monday to Wednesday on some hunts, and then a lot of it's just luck. I mean, it's been a running joke on my failures in the late rounds of Super Stakes, and I've had everything happen to me. And I mean, we can sit here and talk about why, but I mean,
we don't need to do that. No, thank you.
No, you don't need to beat me down today.
All right. Hey, let's swap gears here, man. That's a lot of coon hunting. We've done a lot of that. Let's get into the squirrel hunting, because that's why we really brought Ashton on here. Man, all right. Teach me. I'm a dummy. Like, let's go square one, the competition side of squirrel hunting. Like, what do we need to know? Hold on. Basham's got something. Hold on. Go ahead.
Hold up. Let's start from, even though he's not a trainer, and just so we can build up to the competition side of it. Let's start with, you've got a puppy.
Yeah.
You've got a puppy, and you want to start, you've got your head set on competition hunting this squirrel dog.
Right.
Talk to us about the difference between, and even though you say you're not a trainer of coon dogs, in your head, right, you know what it needs to do in order to win. So tell me what you're doing to this puppy, and let's build it all the way up to actually taking it to the hunts and compete.
So I think it's there's a lot of similarities between the type of, like, a winning type coonhound that you would want and a winning type squirrel dog. You want them to have squirrels, when the I'm a little bit different than some people because some of these guys, they want nothing but they don't want them to, they want to be like a coon dog. They want them to be super, super accurate all the time. I want one treed every 5 minutes, right or wrong, in a squirrel hunt.
Ooh.
Because those extra trees will keep you in the game a lot. I've won almost as much money never treeing a squirrel as I have treeing squirrels in competition squirrel hunts. That's not a lie. But that ain't always going to work, but sometimes it does work. And if you got one that'll make a few extra trees, not a wood monster, but will make some trees, he'll keep you in the game in 90% of your cast, if that makes sense. But you want one that moves around good. You want one that absolutely is going to stay treed no matter what. Kind of the same. I mean, like I said, the same. You want to be by themselves, But as far as training a pup to tree squirrels, I've never done it. I've never attempted really to train a pup to tree squirrels. I've hunted some young dogs that were a year old that people paid me to hunt and kind of try to get them from a started pup to where they could go to some hunts and stuff like that. I've done that, but yeah, and it's basically about the same. For me, it's kind of the same,
Okay, so go ahead.
Go ahead.
Stupid internet.
It's like we're getting a little bit of lag, guys. So
okay,
just bear with us.
All right, so you've got a dog that you're going to hunt. Like, let's start out. What's your favorite breed of dog to hunt in the squirrel dog? Like, are you a cur dog guy, a feist guy? Like, what are we hunting?
If I could build a perfect squirrel dog for competition hunts, it would be a 100% walker. I mean, it would be a hound.
Okay.
100%. That treed squirrels. That wasn't just a wood monster. That treed squirrels. That's what if I could build one like that, that's what I get. There's not very many of them out there. There is some, but not very many. I like a lot of the tree and curs, which are, like half hound and half mountain cur. That's kind of what I like.
Okay. Now, I think Logan Rose was doing some stuff with that. Like, out of that Wild Dream and Echo dog, he was breeding to a couple cur bitches trying to get some of those tree and curs.
Yeah. If you can get it right, if there's a science to it and you could have it all perfect, you get the accuracy of the cur dog and stuff like that, and then you get the tree power in the mouth and stuff and the ability to move around, from the hound. It doesn't always work out like that, obviously, but I think that's kind of the idea.
So you mentioned if you could build a perfect hound. We talk about the walker dog in the squirrel community. What exactly is it lacking that doesn't make it already the perfect dog?
Enough squirrels. They don't have it. Usually, a lot of times they won't have enough squirrels. They're too much tree, and it's not enough accuracy on squirrels.
Okay, so I've seen this too. Now, the even the tree and curs and the hounds that are squirrel dogs, everyone that I've ever seen has been a walker dog. Like, I have not seen a plot or a red bone or an English dog that is a squirrel dog. Is there a reason behind that? Do you know? Like, have you seen any of them?
Yeah. There's a guy, he don't hunt much USDC, but they have some. She's actually got in the finals of the USDC World 2 years ago. She's an English dog, and she's a bad cat. And she's full hound English dog, and she's a squirrel treer, bar none.
Interesting.
Tom Smith owns her. Her name's Farm Junk Cleo, but she's nice, and she's an English dog.
Okay, that's interesting because, like I said, I've just never seen it. But I was like, man, there can't be just walkers out there. Like, there's got to be somebody doing something with something else.
Yeah.
So okay, so you've got a dog. You're going to the hunts. Like, all right, in the coonhound world, we've got PKC and UKC Pro Sport are your main ones. Yeah. That's our main three. What are the top three registries in the squirrel dog world that you're going to go compete at?
I would say USDC. That's kind of like your PKC or Pro Sport, where you go hunt for big money. And then NSD, which is it's kind of like your UKC, but they have some big money hunts and stuff too. Like, they got a side-by-side they're hunting for in the next month or so, maybe. So they're kind of getting to where they're having some bigger hunts, and they've had some bigger hunts in the past. And then I guess OMCBA would be the third one. I've never hunted in a OMCBA hunt before, but I see a lot of guys that do, and I know a lot of guys that do. So I'd say that'd probably be the third one.
Gotcha. So, all right, out of those three, and you said you haven't hunted the OMCBA. What's your favorite, the NSD or the USDC?
I like USDC. Now, I've hunted way more of that than I ever have NSD.
Okay, so, and Basham, interject me if I'm getting ahead of myself here, putting the cart in front of the horse. But let's just roll with the USDC. What are the rules of the squirrel dog event? Like, we know that with a coonhound, we've got to strike the dog, we've got to tree the dog, we're going in for a hunter and a strike. Right. Like, break it down for the squirrel dog. And like, we know that a coon hunt, you've got to see a coon to be plussed. You can be circled, you can be minused. What is the rules for the squirrel dogs? Like, let's break it down for the beginners.
So, first thing would be in a squirrel hunt, there's no strike.
Interesting.
It's strictly tree points in a squirrel hunt. First tree is 125, second's 50, and third is 25. So there's no 75.
Okay.
And it's kind of the same. After 30 seconds, all you can get is 50. After, up to a minute, all you can get is a quarter. After a minute, you can't get nothing.
Okay. Are you only hunting 3 dogs then? In a
3-dog cast, yeah. Yep.
Okay, that's interesting. That's different from Coonhound's 4-dog cast.
3-dog cast instead of 4-dog cast. Then 2-minute trees, like hold your tree for 2 minutes before you advance and score the dog and stuff like that.
It's action packed.
Oh, hey, if you've never been to a USDC squirrel hunt, you haven't seen action. It's a lot more action than a coon hunt could ever be, for sure.
We might have to try this out.
It's a good time. I mean, and there's a lot of similarities and a lot of differences as far as the rules. But when you get to a tree that you're scoring, and here's something else that's different. Coon hunting, you got a tree dog, he shuts up, you run to 2. He don't bark for 2 minutes, he's minus. In squirrel hunting, you run 90 seconds in USDC instead of 2 minutes. Yeah, they got to bark every 90 seconds to be considered treed. But then you get into a tree, and before you could ever score the dog, let's say he's on the ground milling around, you start your stopwatch again. He's got 15 seconds to get back on his tree, or 30 feet from where you first saw him. If he's not treed within 15 seconds or he goes over 30 feet, you're minus whatever you're treed in for.
Now, do you have a tape measure?
Absolutely. If you're a serious squirrel hunter, you got a 100-foot tape with you all the time.
Okay. I've heard about this, but like, let's. So that's going to come into play here in a minute, right?
Yeah. The real reason you want that tape. So you get to your tree, you handle your dog on your tree. You got 60 feet, a 60-foot circle from the tree you're treed on to find a squirrel. If you got a squirrel within 60 feet of your tree, you're plussed up and getting recut.
Now, question: Is that tree to tree 60 feet? Because say you're in 2 big oaks, but he's on the limb on the opposite side of that tree. You're supposed to go 2 foot up at the base of the tree that you're treed on and pull directly across to 2 foot up on the base of the tree that your squirrel's with. And so any tree within 60 feet, you get that whole tree.
Yes. Whole tree.
Okay, so that makes sense.
A squirrel will timber. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Timber. So I understand the 60-foot rule. You give a dog, I'm like a firm disbeliever and benefit of the doubt, but in squirrel hunting, you kind of got to do it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense because, I've been squirrel hunting with a guy up north, Jaden Lovins. He's got a little cur dog named Nitro, dude. The sucker is nice. And he will follow those squirrels as they timber out, Right. Like, it's interesting. When that squirrel starts running, that dog's following.
Now, what are the rules on that?
So, if we're walking in to score a dog and we visibly see him timbering the squirrel and see the squirrel, we plus him if we see the squirrel.
No matter what.
No matter what. If you see the squirrel and see him timbering the squirrel, you plus him.
Now, I'm just throwing devil's advocate because I don't understand it. You're 100 yards from this squirrel dog. He trees. You tree him. And then all of a sudden, just like coon hunting, man, he moves to the right 30, 40 yards.
Yep.
Is he minus?
Yeah, if you can tell he moved, you're going to minus him, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Even if you hear him, even if he's, like you said, 100, 200, 300 yards, and you hear him, yo, 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 and you can tell he's timbering this squirrel, you're still going to minus him because we didn't see this squirrel. We don't know for sure he's timbering.
Gotcha.
Man, that could be a rough break.
Oof. Oh, it's happened to me several times. But you just retree him and go there and score it when you can, you know.
Right. Okay, so typical hunt times, what are we looking at? 60 minutes, 90, 120?
90 minutes. They're all 90 minutes.
90-minute hunt times. Okay.
Only weekend hunts?
Yeah, well, the JPI will start on a Thursday. That's the biggest one they have every year in USDC. It'll start on Thursday. But other than that, and the Junior World Hunt for USDC starts on Thursday too, which is kind of like their Super Stakes, but they call it a Junior World.
Okay, so what about you get to a tree, and I'm assuming I know the answer, but you get to a tree, big hole, we're circling it up, right?
Yeah, you're going to if there's anything that a squirrel could be in within 60 feet, which there always is, you're going to circle it. You ain't going to take. I've never seen a dog get minus for treeing a slick tree in a squirrel hunt.
That is so wild to me.
Man.
That's where that dog that makes a few extra trees can help you and not hurt you.
Okay, I understand it now. Like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Yeah.
So you don't see a squirrel, so the most circle wins.
If you don't tree a squirrel. Yeah, and the tiebreaker is the same as in coon hunt. The most plus 3 points is your first tiebreaker. So you're still aiming to tree squirrels, but I'll tell you, I went to a 9-dog pro hunt in Dayton, Tennessee a couple years ago, hunting a Walker female named Shine, and never treat a squirrel and won $1,600 or $1,700 that day. Never treat a squirrel. So it's I won with her like that twice. Got the money at 2 pro hunts without treating a squirrel.
Damn, I need to start squirrel hunting.
It ain't always going to be like that, but on the right day, you can win like that.
So is it like coon hunting where they're they're having hunts year round? Like, or is there a time where the hunts are going on, or how's this work?
So USDC will start having hunts about the 1st of November and have them pretty well every weekend until the first weekend of April is when they have their world hunt, and then they don't have any more hunts the rest of the year.
So they're hunting when the leaves are off because it's too hard to find a squirrel when the leaves are on.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was just sitting here. I was like, man, like coon hunters, like we hunt year round, but the squirrel dog guys, like it's kind of hard to see a squirrel and there's all them leaves in the tree.
Yeah, they'll have some NSD hunts and stuff after, like in April and maybe May. I'm not sure about that. And then NSD will start having a few hunts in September and October, but not nothing real big or nothing, just some small hunts.
Yeah. So if you need to get a dog ready for these hunts, like we coon hunt year round. Are you squirrel hunting these dogs? How are you keeping them in shape?
I think there's some people who swear by hunting them in the summertime. I would start hunting in September when I was squirrel hunting hard. I would start getting my dog ready in September. And I never really cared much for hunting even in September, but I just did it because I wanted my dog to be ready when we come to November. But a lot of guys will lay them up until September, October, and start getting them ready. And some will treadmill them over the summer. And everybody's kind of got their own idea and their own opinion on hunting in the summertime.
I kind of like this style, Bash. I'm not going to lie. Like,
I don't know. Like, I don't really squirrel hunt anymore. I'm pretty much just coon hunting now because I took a different job and I really can't keep a dog ready through the week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to go waste somebody's money at squirrel hunts when my dog ain't ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I had this conversation with the guy the other day. He messaged me and he's like, hey, in your opinion, if I could only keep one dog, should I keep a squirrel dog or a coon dog? He said, I've got both and I can only do one of them justice. And my humble opinion, I told him, I said, I would keep the coon dog because the squirrel dog, you have to keep them ready like in daylight hours, which is hard to do if you've got a job, an actual job, The coonhound, you can go to work, do your 9 to 5, you can come home, take care of what needs to be done at home, put the kids to bed, and if you're dedicated and you want to hunt, you can go hunt when everybody else is sleeping. Like, you can do that. The squirrel dog is
100%.
much harder to do that because you are trying to keep that dog active and you're trying to keep him hunted up while you should be at your 9 to 5 or whatever your daily duties are.
Right.
So I thought that was very interesting.
My phone is on 10%. So if I cut out, I'm not just quitting our show here, but my phone's about to die.
No, man, you're good. You're good. And we can wrap this up here pretty quickly. But so just a couple more questions that I had on it. Like,
Yeah.
The money hunts. Like, what are we talking in the squirrel dog world? We know the coonhounds are going for crazy money, hunting for $100,000, hunting for brand new trucks. Where are we at in the squirrel dog world?
Pretty much the same. Now, like coon hunting, you can go hunt for more money every weekend, but squirrel hunting, you can go hunt for. They have a truck hunt in USDC every year. Give away a brand new truck. They have a side-by-side hunt. Give away a brand new side-by-side and a brand new trailer. And then the JPI, it'll pay over $100,000 this year.
Wow,
which
that's
it did
crazy.
last year too.
That's crazy. Do you have to qualify for that?
No, JPI, if you want to spend your $1,000 entry and go play, you can have at it.
Gotcha. Okay, man, that's awesome. So what about, go ahead.
Probably, I wanted to say this, probably my favorite thing about USDC is, like, you can show up and register your poodle in USDC hunt tomorrow and hunt him if you want to pay the money and do it. Like, you can hunt whatever you want. People typically hunt curs and hounds and stuff, but you can hunt anything in USDC, which I like. I think that's really, the guys with the best dogs, that's where they're playing at.
Yeah, that's interesting. Ashton said his phone's getting ready to die on him. You got anything you want to close up on this? He's running on like 8%.
Oh, he's got plenty.
Sorry, I wasn't even thinking.
Oh, he's got plenty. 8%, man. That's a good another 15, 20 minutes. So,
Yeah.
So, what is your take on as far as you've kind of hunted both? You've hunted squirrels and you've hunted coon hunting.
Right.
Which one gets the blood pumping?
I was talking to my buddy about this the other day, and I don't know exactly what it is. Like, I get that feeling squirrel hunting where I get fired up. You're hunting for a lot of money, and it's competitive, and you feel like you're going into a fight or something. You get that feeling. But coon hunting, just something about it. Just I can't really explain what it is, but it's not quite the same in squirrel hunting. It's just not the same.
I find that interesting. I do find that interesting. Because I do feel like, man, the squirrel hunting would be, I don't want to say easier, but that might be what it is, like.
It's a lot more laid back. A squirrel hunt cast is a lot more laid back than a coon hunt. It's not near as
cutthroat.
Yeah, and I don't know how else to say it. It's not near as cutthroat. Yeah.
If you think about it, I can tell you exactly where it stems from. In a squirrel hunt, there's really only one way to draw a minus for the biggest majority. Leave a tree.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In a coon hunt, how many ways are there?
Right. There's a lot less to argue about in a squirrel hunt.
That would be nice.
Exactly my point.
That would be nice.
Exactly my point. Everybody walks into a tree knowing 99.9% chance it's circled, no matter what.
Yep.
No matter what.
Yeah,
it's
at
circled.
least. Right.
In coon hunting, that's not the case.
Yeah. Right.
Are there big events like I know you said like the JPI is a big one, the World Hunt, but like coon hunting, you've got you've got Autumn Oaks, you've got Grand American, you've got Winter Classic on the UKC side of things. The PKC, you've got the Lone Star 5000. You've got big week-long events. Are there anything like that in the squirrel dog world where people just go and hang out for a week?
Yeah, they have it's kind of like a mini series inside of USDC. It's called the Ground Floor Series, which Jeff Island, he's the president of USDC, and he sponsors it. He's the Ground Floor Landscape Company is his business. He sponsors, I think he donates $2,500 added purse to every one of those ground floor hunts. And they call it the King and Queen hunt, where they take the top 9 points leaders for the year in the ground floor hunts, the truck hunt, and the side-by-side hunt. They all count towards the ground floor points. Then they have a hunt for your King and Queen of the USDC for that year. So that's kind of something like that. People try to run that race, and they try to run the Dog of the Year race, and the NSD Dog of the Year race is a big deal. It's they run that pretty hard, and they have events like that.
Okay.
More so, the races and stuff are a little bit more important to people, maybe than like an event. But the ground floor is kind of that way.
So it's kind of like the PKC, how the PKC used to be, in the state hunts and the breed hunts and all that. used to actually mean something.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. All right, man. Hey, well, I appreciate you coming on here. I'm good, Basham. I think we've covered a lot here in a short amount of time, and I know Ashton's is getting ready to lose that power there. So, brother,
Well,
I'm
yeah,
good.
I wasn't even thinking I should have charged my phone.
It's all good, man. This was last minute. So, Basham, any other final closing thoughts you've got for us?
Nope. That's about it. I'm good to go.
Yeah, man, Ashton, I've had a great time. Like, I know this is short and sweet, man. I think we can get you back on here another day and pick your brain some more.
Absolutely.
But the squirrel dog thing is something that's interesting to me because I do love going squirrel hunting, but I've only went pleasure hunting. I've never went on a cast. So I would like to go on a cast one of these days and just see what that's all about. So thanks for giving us some perspective.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
All right, buddy. Well, Basham, if you're good, Ashton, if you're good, I guess we're going to sign this thing off.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man.
Till next time, guys.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.